Good morning, everyone. Today's Monday, October 27th of 2025, and today, as you can see, it is a wet day here in Blairsville. It's 100% chance of rain, and then out on the trail there's about an 80%. I'd say it's probably going to be very similar. But this morning it's 50 degrees. It feels a bit colder because of the wetness. But right now, Jordan and I are both off to Neel Gap. We had a call last night for 5 riders that needed to go to Springer Mountain back to their vehicle from Neel. And overnight I received a text that 2 of the riders actually have to go to Atlanta Airport. So I'm picking up 3 riders at Neel Gap. I'm getting them down to Springer Mountain back to their vehicle. And then Jordan from Neel Gap is going to go to Amicalola Lodge with them to retrieve some items and then head on down to Atlanta Airport. So that's what we have going on right now. And then after I drop my Springer ride, I'm going to be heading to Nimblewill Gap for some ladies that I dropped off on Saturday. They need to go back to their vehicle at long term at Amicalola. They've been dealing with the weather overnight. It's been raining pretty hard and it's very wet here. So that's what I'm doing. I'll be back a bit later. Right now I'm still making my way up to Neel Gap to meet the riders this morning, and I'm passing local state cars at the moment. And as you can see, the rain's coming down pretty hard, and it's a little bit foggy up here too. So different areas have more fog than others. You'll notice as I come around the corner here, we can normally see Blood Mountain in the distance, but I'm going to say today is going to be completely encased in fog, which it is, so you wouldn't even know that there was a mountain back up there. So if you're out and about, take some extra time to be cautious of the weather conditions. As always, we want everyone to be safe. Alright, continuing on to Neel Gap and Springer Mountain. Okay, so Jordan and I have both made our way up here to the top of the mountain, and we're going to be pulling into the parking area at Neel Gap, which is also the parking area for Mountain Crossing and Wallace and Lee. The riders stayed the night at the hostel, and we're going to meet them here, get them loaded up. I'll be heading to Springer with them, and Jordan will be off to Atlanta Airport with first a stop at Amicalola Lodge for the riders, and then on to Atlanta. Alright, 47 degrees up here. It's wet. And it's gloomy looking. The trees are still beautiful, and some areas have gone by, but here right now it's really pretty still. This is quite a contrast from the beautiful weekend we had with all that sunshine and blue skies and nice temperatures. Alright, I'm going to go make contact with the riders and get them to their destinations. I will be back a bit later. Alright, I just dropped off the riders here at Springer Mountain Trailhead Parking. Their vehicle was the only car left in the parking lot. It's wet down here. It's cold down here. It's 46 degrees. So they're back to their vehicle and on their way out of here. Alright, I am now moving on to Nimblewill Gap. I'm going to pick up the riders that we dropped the other day at Hightower. I'm going to get them back to their vehicle at Amicalola Falls long-term parking. Alright, that's going to take me about an hour and a half to get there, and heading out now. I'm going to give them an updated ETA and continue on. Alright, I'll be back in a bit. So I'm still making my way off Forest Service Road 42. of miles out until I finally reach the riders at Nimblewill Gap. Well, as you can see, there's still a lot of good color going on in here. The trees have definitely been dropping their leaves. We've had some gustier winds and some rains, so they've been coming down. But this is one of the prettier areas still. Lots of leaves on the trees still with good color. Pavement has now turned into gravel road, and I have exactly 5 miles to Nimblewill Gap. So I'm just going to carefully make my way out here now and meet up with the riders. I'm 3.5 miles from Nimblewill Gap right now, It is slow going. This is a pretty raggedy, rocky road, and I don't want to cause any damage to the vehicle. But I'm continuing my way on. There's a creek off to the right of me as I make my way up here, and that creek is full and raging. We've had a lot of rain, so it's good for water supplies and everything, and to re-nourish the plants and animals. But I'm continuing on, picking my way up to Nimblewill. Alright, so here is some of the rocks that I've been talking about, how things can be really gouged out in here with heavy rainfall throughout the year. So just got to be super careful that you're not popping tires or scraping out underneath your vehicle. This is something, of course, I've learned with years of experience to be able to get out in these places and assist people. And definitely don't try coming down these roads. Get the people that know what they're doing in these areas. This is not a good road to be on. All right, continuing on to Nimblewill Gap.
All right, thanks for watching. Part 2. Look for it. It's coming. Peace.